What's up everyone, and welcome back to another What If video. Now, most videos on Gohan training are what if he decided to train after the Cell Saga, because, as we know, he kinda just screwed around and became a nerd over those 7 years. I mean, of course I'm joking, I still love his character and respect his decision to pursue knowledge and to become happy doing what he loves, but I mean, I can see why people got upset over this. It is Dragon Ball after all, and, you know, they expect people to be fighting. However, I want to do something a little different here, more in line with Gohan's character, and still keeping those 7 years between the Cell games and the Buu arc. So this time, we're going to look at what would happen if Gohan trained after the Buu arc. Now to do this, he needs some sort of catalyst here to encourage him to train afterwards. I mean, there's got to be something to change that encourages him to do that. So let's go back to the Buu arc itself. Everything remains the same until Gohan is fighting Buu tanks and Goku arrives. As we know from the original canon, Goku wanted to fuse with Gohan and he threw the Potara to Gohan, but Gohan didn't catch it for some reason, which never really made sense to me, but moving on. Here's where things start to change. Gohan actually catches the earring this time, and of course, the fusion commences. The warrior known as Gokan is born, a fusion of father and son, Goku and Gohan. At this point in the story, Gohan was the strongest unfused or combined fighter, since people like Buu-Tanks, Buuhan, and Vegeta are obviously stronger, but they're not really individual characters. They rely on the strength of others, or combined power like Vegito. Goku is also very strong at this time too, of course being the strongest behind Ultimate Gohan. This would make Gohan insanely powerful, much more than Vegito even. Even though Vegito has the rival boost, Gohan would probably get something similar. With the father and son fusion, I'm sure there's some sort of boost there. Not to mention the power alone that they both have, and the multiplier fusion, which we don't really know. That would make Gohan much more stronger than Vegito, even without that boost. We don't even really know how big the boost for rival fusions is, but without even going into all of that, I'm sure Gohan would still be a lot stronger with Vegito, boost or not, just from the fusion alone. Buu-Tanks of course stands no chance, and he knows this. But he isn't stupid, he has Piccolo in him, so he knows when to retreat, which is what he does. However, Gohan is not only fast enough to keep up with him, but he has instant transmission, so just in case, he can teleport to him when he needs. I mean, Gogeta has it in the Broly movie, we see him use it, and of course the fusion can use techniques of both its fusees, so he would definitely have this. While Gohan could easily kill Buu right away, he wants to at least try to get Goten, Trunks, and Piccolo outside, so they don't get killed in the process. As Buu desperately tries to flee, he notices something interesting. A new power appeared in the area, Vegeta. He heads straight for Vegeta, and quickly, he detaches part of himself, puts it in his hand, and flings it towards Vegeta. Gohan yells to Vegeta to get out of the way, but it's too late. Vegeta doesn't even know what's happening, and sadly, right after he arrives, without even knowing it, Buu absorbs him. Vegeta is born. However, this isn't that big of a deal as it might seem. Like I mentioned before, Gohan was the most powerful fighter at this time and Buu absorbed him, but Vegeta was still able to take care of him pretty easily. So not only is Gohan a stronger fusion than Vegito, but Vegeta is weaker than Buuhan. Although he's still pretty strong, and this makes Buu confident enough to fight, he doesn't really stand a chance either way. Since the fusion is Goku and Gohan, both of whom missed opportunities to kill Buu before and just now, they realize they can't mess around this time, they can't get cocky and play around with Buu. But they still do need to save the others. So, Gohan puts up a barrier, and he gets absorbed into Buu, like Vegito did. Unlike the original, they don't defuse right away. Originally in the main story, it was explained that Buu had some sort of bad air in him that caused him to defuse, which we know is not true now. That got retconned into being that mortals have a time limit of 1 hour on their fusion. And when a lot of power is exerted, the fusion lasts even less time. Not only has less time passed than in the original, but Gohan hasn't even gone into Super Saiyan or his ultimate form yet, so without the transformation, he hasn't been draining that much power. He hasn't even attacked Buu yet, he just went inside to save his friends. So no bad air or defusion here. Wasting no time, he fights the Buu clones while inside of him, similar to what Goku and Vegeta did in the original, and ends up saving everyone inside. Well, not really everyone. He doesn't save Fat Buu because he doesn't really have a reason to. While Goku is part of the fusion and he probably would want to save Buu, it's different in this timeline. They wouldn't want to risk having Buu run around again because they don't know what he's capable of. So they decide not to save him and they just leave him inside when they leave Buu. With everyone in his arms, Gohan flies outside of Buu, who's now lost all of the power he's absorbed. Vegeta starts to transform. He starts morphing back into regular Super Buu. As Buu is transforming back into Super Buu, this is the perfect time for Gohan to strike. Just for good measure, he powers up to Super Saiyan, and he charges up a Kamehameha. He fires it, and due to the immense power, Buu is completely disintegrated, no regeneration this time. So, they've done it. The Earth is saved, it doesn't blow up this time, and Gohan, Piccolo, Goten, and Trunks never actually die. And Vegeta's still saved in this timeline too, even though he got absorbed. Before Gohan questions how he's going to explain this to Chi-Chi since he's fused like this permanently, they end up defusing. How convenient. I mean, it would have been a little weird having a mom who's also your wife and a brother who's also your son, so this is really convenient and they get to avoid this weird conversation. Of course, like usual, everyone is revived and now the universe is at peace. Everyone reunites and celebrates this victory like in the original, and they have that little party afterwards, which is kind of nice. After everyone dying, you kind of want to throw a party and celebrate to forget about it. So, how does this go into Gohan training more? Well, from this experience, I feel it would be enough of a catalyst to encourage Gohan to at least start training a little bit now, and try to fit in with his busy schedule, because even though he still has that schedule of school and being a scholar or whatever, he can still fit in training sometimes. I mean, even the Dragon Ball Super manga shows that he does do training sometimes in the gravity room, while nobody notices. In the original story, it was just Goku and Vegeta that would handle everything. They'd come in, save the day, kill the enemy, and everything's good. This time, however, Gohan felt what it was like to have more power as a fusion, and he kind of wants to see if he can push himself farther. Alongside that, he finally realizes what he should have realized after he killed Cell. Sometimes he has to fight to protect everyone. As Uncle Ben once said, with great power comes great responsibility, and Gohan takes that to heart. Well, not the actual quote, I don't think Spider-Man exists in the Dragon Ball universe, but you know what I mean. Not only did he get ahead of himself and not kill Cell right away during the Cell Saga, he made the same mistake with Buu, which that could have had disastrous results, but he got lucky enough with the fusion and they ended it right away. He now realizes that this power is really important and he decides to hone that power and improve it in case there's any more trouble in the future, which there most likely will be. Of course, he has Videl now too, another person he wants to protect alongside his friends and family, as well as the entire world. So of course, he begins to train. He might spar with Vegeta or Goku here and there, go into the gravity room, or might even train with Goten and Trunks. Even Videl would probably train with him because they're still both young and Videl hasn't really changed much at this point, so they'd probably even train together. And of course, basically being his teacher, Piccolo would end up training with him as well. So this ends up creating something pretty interesting. Not only does Gohan get much stronger after this, but the people around him are as well. You see, he'd be training a lot with Goten and Piccolo specifically, so Piccolo would get a huge boost in power. Goten would also get a little bit stronger, which would translate into Trunks getting stronger as well since they train together. And of course they train with Piccolo too, so they would all benefit from that. But one of the most interesting things is that Videl would get stronger here too, which we haven't really seen. It seems like in Super she just completely gave up on training and she just stopped doing it because it wasn't her thing anymore. But now that Gohan is training, she would probably end up training with him too, because I mean, they are boyfriend-girlfriend and eventually they get married, so of course they'd be doing this a lot together. Without getting into any of the power scaling that I'm going to include in the next part, let's just say Videl gets a little bit stronger around here and she could actually control Ki a little better. We'll put her around some sort of Saiyan Saga level. She's not immensely strong, but she's a lot stronger than she was before as just a normal human who only knew how to fly and throw some basic Ki blasts. And while Saiyan Saga doesn't really sound like much compared to the feats that we have today, it's actually a lot bigger than you'd expect, so this is actually a pretty decent increase despite her being much weaker than even the other humans in the story. Of course, Gohan started all this training to prepare for any future threats, and as we know, there is one looming, one of godly proportions that's about to awaken. On the next part, we'll be exploring Battle of Gods, and potentially even Resurrection F if we can get that far. So give me your thoughts below. What do you think will happen next time that's different, or will it be different at all? Comment any suggestions below and I'll be sure to take them into account. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell to get notifications whenever I make a new video. Thank you.